From an uncertain release date to the fate of some of the show's favorite characters, here are Stranger Things Season 5 questions fans are demanding answers to. 3 years passed between Seasons 3 and 4 of Stranger Things on Netflix, but the show's delayed return was understandable given the challenges of filming during the pandemic. However, there was a 2-year gap between Seasons 2 and 3, so now we have to wonder if that would happen again. That being said, when exactly will Season 5 premiere? The second question fans want answered is, when is Will going to reveal his sexuality? Actor Noah Schnapp, who portrays Will on Stranger Things, recently discussed the show's handling of the character's sexuality. He says that it's up to the viewers to decide if Will is merely maturing at a slower rate than his peers, or if he's actually gay. In the second, the other half of Season 4, he gives Mike some insightful advice on his bond with Eleven before breaking down in tears, suggesting he may feel something other than friendship for Mike. Fans are hoping that since Will has become such a marginalized character, Stranger Things would find the time to address the numerous indications the show is dropping regarding his sexuality, and this is only one of them. Given that Jonathan now understands Will's pain, Season 5 may bring about a very moving conversation between the brothers, during which Will may decide to tell someone his secret. The next question on the mind of fans is, will Eleven eventually be tracked down? In Season 4, Lieutenant Colonel Jack Sullivan was a recurring antagonist who blamed Eleven for the murders in Hawkins. Sullivan continued on his mission to track out Eleven and put an end to her dangerous ways regardless of what Owens said about her. It's possible that after the devastating events of the Season 4 finale, most of it will still be attributed to Eleven. With Owens' destiny up in the air after Episode 8, and the Colonel's potential reluctance to listen to him, Sullivan may easily return as a significant opponent in the premiere and subsequent episodes of Season 5. Now, does anyone know if Vecna is still alive? It's highly unlikely that Vecna died for good, and he will probably come back as a major antagonist in the final season of Stranger Things, where he has already taken his place among the best antagonists. Vecna turned out to be accountable for much more than anticipated, and he was the very first person to ever see the Upside Down. Whether or not Vecna or the Mind Flayer is the Upside Down's top dog is up for debate, but what is not is the destructive bond between the two. It's hard to think that Vecna's magical skills had limitations to a single physical body. After he spent so many years in the Upside Down strengthening and honing them, only to have them annihilated by Nancy, Robin, and Steve, despite the fulfillment of the curse, his defenders insist he will return even more powerful than before. Steve and Nancy getting together is another matter we have to ponder upon. Fans think that Season 4 should have included more romantic undertones between the two of them. Even though Jonathan has returned and things appear to be stable between him and Nancy, they are still keeping secrets from one another. These concerns may seem trivial in view of the impending doom of the planet, but Season 5 could see a pivotal disagreement between Steve and Nancy that finally clears the way for them to reconcile. In the Season 4 finale, they have a very moving moment together, but Nancy is too busy to reveal to Steve how she really feels about what he said. If her association with Jonathan does go through rocky patches, it could signal the return of the show's love triangle from previous seasons, which would certainly disappoint some viewers. Speaking of disappointment, will Max ever wake up from her coma? After Vecna made a second attempt to steal Max's soul in the Season 4 finale, Max was the only one who could save her. She was left gravely damaged with all of her limbs broken, and she went into a coma. But Eleven used her talents to bring Max back to life when he stopped her heart and carried out his curse. It's probably safe to assume that the showrunners didn't keep Max alive until Season 5, since they intended all the major deaths to happen at once. If Max does not recover from her coma by the end of the season, the Duffer Brothers wasted a golden opportunity to deliver an even more devastating blow to the audience. Speaking of recovery, will any of the major characters perish in Season 5? Well, many important characters in Stranger Things have been rumored to die in the upcoming 5th season, so the creators decided to stick with what has worked in previous years, such as introducing a new, likable character and then killing them off. This time, Eddie Munson took the hit, but supporters are growing weary of the same old strategy. Since this is the last season, the stakes have increased dramatically. Important characters such as Will and Jonathan have been obscured in the show's final 2 seasons, because there are simply so many of them in the show. Some characters need to die in order to provide the emotional major shock that an ending season requires, and to make room for other characters who need further development. Still, on the issue of survival, fans also want to know if Hawkins will survive. Well, Vecna's curse was finally complete, and the upside-down portals he had created swept over Hawkins like an earthquake. Fans found it strange how the people of Hawkins reacted to the event, which had an otherworldly appearance. But since there was a time jump of 2 days before the episode ended and nothing much had changed aside from the enormous, bizarre-looking fires, it appears that the greater repercussions of the catastrophe will not be immediate. That does not suggest there won't be major repercussions, though. It would feel off to have the series' final showdown someplace else than Hawkins, which serves as Stranger Things' equivalent of Harry Potter's Hogwarts. It's only a question of time before terrible forces emerge from the Upside Down, which means fans have to pray that the OG team can defend their beloved Hawkins. That being said, fans want to know, what's up with the Russians? Although the Russians obviously know a lot about the creatures of the Upside Down, their true motivations remain a mystery. It's possible that they'll let loose something dreadful into the world if they release the Demogorgons from their imprisonment. And more significantly, if they open the massive room storing the fragments which make up the Shadow, especially now that Vecna's ties to the Shadow have been established. Hopper and his group's discovery of those fragments in the Russian penitentiary is not a favorable omen. With only a handful of episodes left, it's highly improbable that any of the main characters will return to the USSR. But the fact that Enzo survived Season 4 and is likely to align with Hopper could signal that connections to the Russian subplot will continue into Season 5. So, do you think the Upside Down will fit into our world? With the revelation that a human mind was behind the Upside Down, Season 4 of Stranger Things did a fantastic job of answering many of the questions that viewers had regarding it. However, many questions remain unanswered, and things could get trickier now that the gates to the Upside Down have been opened in Hawkins. Before anything else, Nancy's realization that the Upside Down is frozen in time is a major red flag, and the issue appears to be related to Will's absence in Season 1. This time travel nonsense could further complicate things, as a collision between Hawkins and the Upside Down is a distinct possibility.